just pulled the van out of the spray booth for the first time, just to have a look at what the result is like. I can see some really obvious runs and things in the lacquer. Can't really see it in this light. I can see it to the naked eye, but can't really see it here on camera. At least I've got plenty of lacquer down on it now, and I can work with it. I've got quite a bit of paint correction to do, but look at that. But just looking, not the colour, the style. Love it. I am really looking forward to seeing what this is like finished when it's all put back together again. That is looking amazing. I am so happy with this so far. I'm going to get both doors off, get the tailgate that's currently in the garage in the spray booth, get set up here, give it a clean down, wet this floor, and get all of the insides of the doors redone in base coat to reactivate what's on there now. Give that sort of 20-30 minutes to flash off, and then get it all lacquered up, get it ready for the weekend. So an hour ago, it was absolutely mint conditions for spray painting. Nice and warm and dry, sunny, no wind. I've pulled the van out. I've prepped 3 doors, all ready for spraying, and now it's fucking it down. So I've literally just chucked a sheet over the van. That's the best I can do. I just need to carry on. So, soldiered on and managed it. So we've got the colour and lacquer down on the doors. Really happy with how they've come out. Love this colour. Typical start to put in the van back together again. First thing I've done, get the sliding door back on. First new part that I've got out of my collection of bits that I've had all prepped and ready. Let's have a look at it. Brand new rubber door seal. It's gone on really, really nice. I really like the design. It's a little bit different to the original one, but it goes on really, really good. And it's transformed the way that the door's feeling, apart from one problem. It's about 3 inches too short. I'm going to have to patch it in with a bit of the old stuff. So I'm a bit sorry that my recent videos have all been a bit me whinging, but this is just the reality of what it's like trying to do something on your driveway like this. If I had an amazing workshop and whatnot, it'd be a fucking doddle, wouldn't it? But this is just being a right pain. So I had a crack just now spraying the tailgate. Unfortunately, it's completely overcast. It's just too late. I thought the light was enough, but I mean, like right now it looks really bright, doesn't it? But in terms of spray painting, seeing how much paint you're putting on, no, I've put it on and it's all ran. I've got runs everywhere because I didn't even think I was putting on enough, and I've looked at it, took my mask off and gone. So, word of warning, if you think the light is good enough, it's not. You need better. 10:10 at night. I've abandoned painting, obviously. Doing some electrical stuff. So I'm trying to get the radio and the reversing camera and all of the wires through the dashboard and up the side of the pillar there, because it's dead easy to do whilst the windscreen's out. And then coming along here, and then I've took out the bellow for the tailgate when I took the tailgate off. So we've got my existing wiring loom in here, and it's got some redundant stuff in it that I'm not going to need, including that water pipe, because I've not got a rear windscreen washer jet now. So what I'd like to do is get rid of this tube and the space that I'm going to make by taking that tube out. I'm going to be able to get all my extra cables in this one, which is for the camera, some extra bits and pieces again for the central locking as well. So I'm going to put the central locking in. So if I undo all of this original tape, take that tube out, then use this tape if I can, wrap it all back up again, get it all through the bellows, back through here, down the tailgate, And then I've got all of my cables that I need nicely here to where my camera unit and my central locking's gonna go. So I've managed to get all the bits of tape off. It's super sticky stuff. So I've pulled it off in sort of like 10-inch parts, then tore it. So it's left all of the cables really sticky. So I'm using some solvent cleaner to clean the glue off the cable, and then use this then as a fish to pull this wire through there, and then I'll use that as a fish to pull my other cables back through this way. I'm having to do it in 2 different ways because the ends, like where is it now, the end of this wire that goes to the radio, I've had to cut it off because on the end of this one it had a big fuse which wasn't going to go through the bellow, and the other end is that one there again, so that's not going to go through the bellow. So the easiest thing to do was to cut the cable at the fuse, leaving a little tail on it, and then get it through the bellows, work it through that way, and then just reconnect it back on again and heat shrink it. Putting these extra cables in here, putting some spare stuff in for if I need it. Those wires will be coming along here. So it's just dawned on me that for the purposes of spray painting, to get all of this out of the way, so I could paint all here, I did actually push the entire wiring loom, including the bellow, through the hole to bring it all out on the inside. So I'm just putting everything back through the holes and bring it out on this side. There we go, that probably makes more sense now. So I've got my power for my camera itself, then I've got a switched input which goes to the camera, off the back of the radio, which is also getting an input from the reverse light, which is going to go up on that. So the way that this is going to work is one of these wires is going to go to my reversing light. When I put it into reverse, it puts power up this cable, which goes to the back of the radio. It goes to the reverse input, which changes the the screen in the radio onto the camera. Then that same power also goes down the other wire, which goes down here. So this is putting 12 volts down this wire, which then goes to the camera, which then motors the camera out. It's going to be a long day. Kate's going to keep me fed and watered with brews and whatnot. Late finish last night, got like a lot of the electrical stuff in for that tailgate done, as you saw. So I'm going to finish off a bit of the cabling now back to the radio and get the horn back in situ. I'm going to have to do it in a way that I don't really want to do it. I had it done better before, but in terms of just getting it in speedily for the MOT for next week, just got to do it the way I'm doing it. So I'm getting rid of these runs off the tailgate using a 500, and it's velcroed onto my block. I'm just very lightly going over the runs till I get that out. So I mentioned this foam stuff, which is to create a soft edge. So it comes on a roll, it's about 15 quid. I think you get about 50 meters of it, and it's self-adhesive. So there's just one little edge which is sticky on one side, and you stick it to the inside edge down there, all the way around the door. And then when you close the door up, it seals that gap off down there, so I can spray right across here now without getting any overspray going down where my fresh paint is, like that. So I'm actually taking a moment to make use of my own advice, which is, if you think that the light is good enough, it isn't. So I'm moving the light fitting. So I've got a light fitting over on this side that's just not doing anything at the minute because everything I'm doing is on the other side of the van. So I'm moving the light fitting over here and putting both on this side, all of my lights, everything I have on this side to illuminate this side so I can see what I'm actually doing. So I've panel wiped all the side and tailgate down. So panel wipe is like a degreasing agent. Just use it with like a kitchen roll. and you will take all of the grease off the panel. The next step is using one of these, and these are absolutely essential. It's called a tack rag or a tack cloth, and you can literally see it picking up all the bits of dust and things that just sat on the surface. So it's ever so slightly tacky. So it'll come in a packet all flat packed, and you open it up and get it all nice, loose and floppy. And then just very, very lightly, don't rub hard because you don't want the tack coming off the cloth onto your panel. You just very lightly skim it over the surface, and that picks up all of the fluff and dust from your kitchen roll. The most useful tool you're going to need to get for your spray gun is a set of these cleaning tools. Just a couple of quid for these needles, absolutely essential for cleaning the holes out on this regularly. Like every time I come to it, even though it looks clear, it's spraying like a bag of shit. Punch that in through and it really sorts it out. So it was worth spending sort of 5-10 minutes just sorting the gun out, because the first thing I do is I try spraying the thinners that I've left in through the airline overnight, just to see what the fan pattern's like, and if it's all coming out splattery, then you need to clean it out first. So you just take this out, there's a spring in the back there, pull the needle out, take the end cap off, take your cup off the top, and just clean everything out, free up all those holes and things, and then try it again. And it's spraying really, really nice now. Nice smooth fan pattern, nice and even. That was worth doing. Then get yourself these plastic cups for measuring out. My ratio for my base coat is just 2-to-1. That's all it is, 2-to-1. So I'm going to be going up to I need to make up quite a lot, so I'm going to go up to my number 2 line here on my cup with my base coat, and then going up to that number 1 line there with my thinners, my reducer. Give it a mix it up, and then pop in a paper filter in there, and then pour it through. Make sure you take your cap off. So that's 50% base coat and 50% thinners or reducer. Anyway, so there's a little bit of thinners in there now, so we'll get rid of that first. So I just have a bucket down there, just tip that out, squeeze the trigger, and then just drop out any excess thinners that's in the gun. So that's clean and clear, paper cut, and then that'll filter out any little fly on my arm. Don't go in my paint, Mr. Fly, big fucker. Oh, piss off. So that's 500 mils. Put that to one side. Get the cap on. One of these stands is dead handy for while you're doing this. So I've just got it clamped in a vise like that. While you screw it to your wall. Worth getting a couple actually, one for each gun or one for each location. One here for your mixing desk, and then one inside the van as well, inside your booth. Right, that's ready to go. Let's go to the spray pea. So if you pull the trigger just a little bit, you just get air. So just before I spray it now, just blowing it with a bit of air, and the tack cloth again. So it's been about half an hour since I actually tack clothed it down because of all the problems with the gun. Can you hear me? Yeah. You literally need to tack cloth it just seconds before spray painting, because it's ridiculous how fast stuff settles on the surface. Give it a little test to see how it's coming out. So we want a nice even fan pattern like that. It's a bit cockeyed though. Get some paint down. So I'll start down here.
A little bit too wet, that, risking it running. Just go a little bit quicker with it.
So I mixed up 500 ml of paint. I needed 510 ml of paint. But as for the first coat, that's gone actually pretty decently. I was really pissed off at first because obviously started on the wing, and you can see where I've got water spots on the panel. I think that's not what was on the panel, it's been drawn through the airline. So I thought I was wasting my time, but I've carried on and I've actually only got one more water spot on it, which is back there, and one speck of dirt as well next to it. One speck of dirt and one watermark after that initial first panel. So it's gone all right. Shame about missing out on a bit of paint there. Didn't quite have enough. Couldn't really see what I was doing at first, so I think maybe I was borderline on putting a bit too much paint on the wing here. Couldn't really see what I was doing with my mask. My mask was just misting up. I think I might have to rip the plastic out of the mask because it just keeps misting up with fog and I can't see what I'm doing. It's driving me insane. Okay, so that's that first coat. I'm just going to give that a minute or two to flash off. Look at the fucking state of my garage is just up. It's not always like this. It's only like this 99% of the time. So I've put a little bit of thinners in my gun because I actually ran it till it was dry. Little bit of thinners. Pull the trigger. See that? Look, already it's wanting to. See, now it's starting to go. See, that's how it was hesitant at first. That's because that wants to dry really, really quickly in your gun. The last thing you want to do is run your gun dry and then just leave it there. Because it will just all dry inside your gun, and then you've got to strip your gun and clean it out. So as soon as you finish using it, either tip your paint out if you're not using it and clean it out immediately, or if you run it till it's dry like I've just done there because I've run out of paint, just drop a little bit of thinners in it, pull the trigger, and it's going to keep it all wet inside the gun then. And then all I need to do now is make up some more paint, refill it, go again. But I do want to sort out those issues first, so I'm going to let it flash off to the point where I can sort out those issues on the wing. It started bloody raining again. Let's get the heater on this wing, get it dried off. Little specks of rain are coming in through this bloody gap here and landing on the wing. Nowhere else on the van, no, just the wing. So that's another 500 millilitres of paint, which has put down the second coat down the full side of the van. Got a nice coverage. There's still a few little areas which you can still obviously clearly see through because it does need another coat. You can see the white still. Definitely does need another coat. I did manage to resolve a couple of issues. You can see improvement now in this wing, but still a few little water spots, so I'll have to just repeat the same thing that I did again. I'll let this flash off. I'll give it a little scuff with my 1500 grit Scotch pad, which I've got there ready, and then we'll do a third coat on it. It's really frustrating at the minute because I've got water drips coming through and I'm just sort of like, there it goes there, just working around it. It's chucking it down outside, so my compressor is unfortunately just there right next to the opening of the garage, so it is a wet atmosphere, but this is the best I can do. Annoyingly, it's going to be absolutely glorious in 2 or 3 days time. But in 2 or 3 days time, it's just too late. I need paint on this today in order to progress, get me MOT next week, get out in it the week after that if I can. Look at that. That's nice. I have to it's not perfect. I have to remember where I've come from, what this van used to look like before I started. What an absolute state it was. It was rotten to the core. Bits were falling off it on a daily basis. I'd come home from work and there'd be another piece of it on the floor on the driveway. And now I've got a completely reconstructed door. All metal, no filler. All the inside, all completely reconstructed. Fresh paint, feels nice that. I've sprayed up the little bits and pieces like the brackets and things in gloss black. Not scuffed up, but cleaned up this with a Scotch pad. That's stainless steel, so that's come up nice. Bit of black gloss on the bracket there. Just so when you open a door you don't see sort of like ugly looking parts next to nice clean fresh paint. What is coming on? Let's let the paint flash off, scuff it up, and we'll go again. So these are the conditions I'm working in. Really abysmal. It's overcast, it's chucking it down, but we're cracking on. I'm losing count now. Is that 3 coats? Anyway, I've managed to completely overcome my water spot issues. Really happy about that. And it's looking nice. There's very, very little dirt in it. There's the odd little speck here and there. But generally, it's looking okay. Can you hear the cheek of those fucking seagulls laughing at my paint job? Cheeky bastards. Right, that's 4 coats, and that's looking mint. That's come out really nice. Considering the conditions I am doing this in, I am fucking well happy with myself. I've never done this before. I've not got one single run. I've got full coverage. It's got a nice glint to it. Obviously that is only the base coat. Lacquer is yet to go on, so when the lacquer goes on, this is all going to shine. Well happy. I think today I am surpassing myself.
Right, I'm really pleased with how the sides come out. I've moved the van forward because it's not raining through that gap anymore. We're moving on. I'm going to spritz a little bit over this bit of primer from a repair. Little dabs that I've rubbed through. So this was from, was it yesterday or was it the day before I sprayed this? So I've rubbed down the runs. So I'm just going to spritz a little bit over those areas first, just to air it off, and then we'll give it a coat. Let's give it a little tickle. Don't want to go crazy. We've been doing really well so far with not getting any runs. That's borderline. Let's just blow a little bit of air on it like that. Dry it off before it can run. So if you just pull your trigger slightly, you just get air. There we go, that's alright. Whoa! There on it. Don't want to get any runs now. We've come this far. It's a bit emotional. Very emotional.
So that's ready for that's all the dusting's off done, and now that's ready for a full wet coat. Now I'm really happy with how this has come out. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you'll have really seen the extent of the amount of work that I've had to do to this tailgate to get it to this point, which involved, like, I had to get the glass out. All of the bottom of this had all completely rotten out, and I had to cut the full section from about here to here, cut all that out, weld all that back in, and get that looking right again. Obviously we've done the windscreen wiper delete, so that's gone. But the main thing was the whole reverse camera badge unit modification that I've done to it, which meant having to cut a great big piece out like that, a big square, or I think I did an octagon actually, 8-sided shape, and cut all of the back of the van out, and then married it up with the back of a Polo tailgate. So that is actually from a Polo, which I've welded in, skimmed up, blended it in, and got the this line back, because all of that panel there and all of this all completely distorted when I welded it up. Now I do have quite a bit of distortion here on the number plate area, but because of the number plate, I was just not arsed about it whatsoever. I knew it wasn't right when I was filling it up and rubbing it down, but because of the number plate, I'm not going to go spending a day on getting that flat where a number plate goes over it. So when I first started mixing paint, I was absolutely shitting myself, but it does get to the point where you just get used to it, you know? You don't have to piss about with viscosity. Just mix it at the right ratio, and it'll come out the gun fine. Well, I can't believe how long this is version 2 of just saying that, because the first one I was just swearing. It's taken all day just to get base coat, 4 coats of base coat down one side of the van and on the tailgate. Obviously included all masking up and stuff like that. But it's now 7:30. The light has gone really bad all of a sudden, and I've just had to base coat using a bloody, holding this in one hand and then running along like this, trying to trying to not get the airline to hit the back of the van, because if you touch it, you've got to let it dry, rub it all down, you know, rub that area down anyway, and then start again feckling it in, and you'll never get it right. Well, you will, but it's a frig load of pissing around. I've got to do the lacquer. I mean, I've just spent all day doing all the base coat. I've got to get the lacquer on. So the ratios on the lacquer is 2:1 and 10%. So you go up to your number 2 here to 1 and 10%. So you go lacquer, hardener, reducer. I'm going to give you an idea what it's like trying to work with this bloody mask on, and that's without it fogging up. So you've just got this horrible foggy mask on, and basically that's about as much as you can see. That gives you an idea, a perspective of what it's like trying to spray. I have to keep fucking moving the light around to try and be able to see what the hell I'm doing, and it's just a struggle. Just don't do what I've just done and touch it there like an absolute fucking fool. The handle's on that side, dickhead. It's really getting dark in here now. Oh, that's one coat on. I can't see what I'm doing. So doing the lacquer is an absolute nightmare. I've pulled the visor bit off my mask just so I can see a little bit better. It does make all the difference, really. I'm going to set it up I'm going to get my phone for the last coat of lacquer now on the tripod so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, it's unbelievable, this. Right, I really hope that this is going to be my 3rd and final coat of lacquer. The first one I did a little spritzy one. The second one I did a little bit heavier. Now I've got to try and go for like a full wet coat and not try and get any runs. So far I've got one little run. This is where it could all go wrong. Oh, you fuck's sake! Stood on the fucking lighting cable. Why's it not working? Oh! Ugh. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. I've got this about I'm fucking the cable and pull the wire out right in the middle of doing this. I've got this. I can't. No, because you won't know where to. I have to constantly change its angle. I'm not going to know until tomorrow.
See you later.
Alright. Oh, you're taking the absolute... Flies, man, flies. All the flies are coming out now. So hopefully there's just enough on there so that I can do some paint correction, get rid of all this orange peel, and have it looking reasonable. I think considering the conditions that I've done this in today, which is, it's been raining all day, I'm in a makeshift shelter. It's the first time I've ever done it. I think I've got some reasonable results. The base coat goes down really nice. I was always a bit worried about doing the lacquer because I knew that having done the lacquer on the insides of the doors and stuff, it's so easy to just get major runs. I've got a lot of runs on the insides of the doors that need sorting out. Right, I'm gonna walk out of here, come back in half an hour, and we'll do some tidy up and stuff. Just leave the heaters on. I hope my hair looks good, because I think it's permanently styled like that now. Well, I've managed it. Base coat and lacquer on the tailgate. Tailgate inside, all done. Been an absolute nightmare of a day. It's got a real nice glint to it. I've only got one run, which is not even a bad one either, really. I can't really see it here, but
It is absolutely peppered in orange peel. You can probably see it from here. If I hold it further back, you can see the orange peel in it. So it's gonna have to have a lot of paint correction to get all that orange peel out, unfortunately. It's gonna be a lot of rubbing down to do.